And the Russian oil tanker carrying 100,000 metric tons of crude oil has reportedly arrived in Cuba, marking its first such delivery this year. This comes after US President Trump claimed that he has no problem with the tanker delivering relief to the island, which has been affected by a US blockade. Ship tracking data has confirmed the arrival of the Russian energy shipment in Cuba, ending a 3-week journey across the Atlantic. And according to reports, the tanker Anatoly Kolodkin departed the Russian Baltic Sea port of Primorsk on March 8th and is currently anchored at the port of Matanzas, awaiting discharge. Experts say that the oil shipment could reduce about 180,000 barrels of diesel, enough to feed Cuba's daily demand for 9 or 10 days, reiterating there is no change in the sanction policy against Cuba. The White House defended Trump's decision to allow the tanker to reach Cuba to provide humanitarian assistance.
This is not a policy change. There has not been a formal change in sanction policy. As the president said last night, we allowed this ship to reach Cuba in order to provide humanitarian needs to the Cuban people. These decisions are being made on a case-by-case basis. And as the administration has said, Cuba's non-functional economy cannot be fixed unless they undergo dramatic political and leadership change. But there has been no formal change with respect to sanction policy.
Well, the U.S. cut off Venezuela's oil exports to Cuba after toppling Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro on the 3rd of January, and Trump threatened to slap punishing tariffs on any country that sent crude to Cuba. However, very recently, just on Sunday, while speaking aboard Air Force One, Trump signaled that he was reversing course and expressed sympathy for the Cuban people's need for energy.
I'd prefer letting it in, whether it's Russia or anybody else, because the people need heat and cooling and all of the other things that you need. Go ahead.
Russia reiterated that it remains committed to support its friends in communist-run Cuba through continued supplies despite the long-standing US blockade. The Kremlin acknowledged that the shipment was raised during recent high-level talks with the US.
Russia considers it its duty not to stand idly by and to provide the necessary assistance to our Cuban friends. We are pleased that this consignment of petroleum products will arrive on the island, or rather, it has already arrived. As for the American side, I can only confirm that this issue was indeed raised in advance during our contacts with our American counterparts.
Meanwhile, Mexico's president Claudia Sheinbaum said that her country has every right to send fuel to Cuba. Her remarks came as the White House reiterated that US sanctions remain in place, reserving the right to seize vessels. However, it noted that the administration can waive such seizures on a case-by-case basis.
Mexico has every right to send fuel to Cuba, whether for humanitarian or commercial reasons.